Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4, season 2 of Sipping Tea with Stacey T. Y'all, it's a day late, isn't it? But we're still here, dedicated to doing this every week. So you're going to get actually 2 in this week because technically, y'all know what I'm talking about. Technically, it is the next week, but we're still going to do it. Yesterday, there was a little bit going on, could not log on. I appreciate you being patient. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to stick with what I've been doing, which is Saturdays, but I am here today. And y'all know, I will tell you, when we first started, we tried everything, right? We tried all different times. We tried a little bit of a different day, all the scenarios. We kind of landed on one on Saturdays, one Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays, but it didn't happen. But your girl's here. Your girl's here. Today, we're going to talk about my motto for the year, which I've mentioned before, but I think it bears really getting into because it is something that I've already been, I won't say grappling with, but it's already been something that I've been sitting in. And I think that all of us probably have what people might call a motto, a mantra, a saying, whatever it is that you're applying to yourself this year or have been managing through this year. And I am no different than that. So before we get started, we're going to be trying a new tea, y'all. We're going to be trying this True Honey. So I tried this the last time, but I tried a different one. I tried the apple cinnamon. And as I mentioned with the last one, it was very like you taste the citrus, right? So it was a strong citrusy flavor, which I mean, apples, right? But for me, the thing that really made it, and that wasn't bad. I will tell you, like it was like really like a potent taste. So if you're not expecting that much apple, and I wasn't expecting that much apple. I thought it would be a little bit more like cinnamony, because the scent of it is what it gave. So I was surprised by that. But the pairing that I did with that, what was it called? Christmas honey. Y'all, that was everything. It was really, really good to combine the two. So let's see what this one says. So this is, as you can see, Earl Grey from the same company, True Honey Teas. I have not opened it yet. I'll be opening it just to give you a little bit of what it says on the back because, I want to do that with y'all. So this one it has honey granules, but the granules are cane sugar and honey. I know somebody's about to have a problem with that, but I didn't. It's what it says, y'all. It's what it says. Organic black tea and bergamot oil. So let's see. Now the other one that I also tried last time was caffeine free. This one is caffeinated, and I figure I'm gonna need some caffeine today, y'all, because it's snowing, and I'll probably be going out to handle some of that, but maybe to make a snowman. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. We'll see what the day brings, but I have a feeling that the caffeine is going to be necessary. The other thing that I like about this is it talks about it's a family-run business, which again, trying to find out about these companies. The person who's the founder has their signature or hers. It says Chris, so you don't know what that means, right? His or her signature on the back, and it gives you some brewing instructions. So let's get into it. Let me open it up. I'm talking all that mess. I was like, what if I can't open it? That's gonna be embarrassing. Okay, so automatically, as soon as I like broke that seal, the scent of this is like, wow, it's powerful and it smells really good. It smells really good. So, and I don't mind Earl tea. It's kind of like a basic tea for me. Black tea, Earl tea. You know, wow. Wow. I don't know what it is that I'm smelling because now I have to look back at this. Organic black tea burger. I wonder if that's the oil that I'm smelling. Y'all, this doesn't smell like any other Earl Grey tea that I've had. This is really, and again, the size, just to give you a frame of reference, the size of the bag is like the palm of my hand is pretty big. It's bigger than most, right? Y'all know I'm gonna put honey with it. I mean, come on, you knew that. Like I figured you'd know from the jump that I was gonna be doing that. So just trying to get my stuff together, which I had plenty of time to do. Clean spoon. All right. So put that in there, put some of the hot water in there, let it steep for a while. I think it said I'm gonna look back on it again. The other one gave very specific time frame to let the tea steep. Y'all, I can already smell this. This is no joke. This tea company, I'm gonna tell you, they pack a punch. All the flavors, even all the scents are really like aromatic. They're really, really strong. So this one says 6 to 10 minutes again. So I think the last one was like 9 minutes. But we're gonna let it have its moment. Hello, hello, hello. Y'all, I can see people commenting, but I have my glasses on. So I'm gonna put my glasses so I can see. Hey Tiffany, how you doing? Hey Cheryl. Yeah, the bags are big. The bags are big, which it's interesting. It is really interesting. I don't even know how many do you get in here? So there are 12, and that's another thing. So I think somebody asked me last week how many you get. There are 12. So you get 12 in here. I don't know if that was the same on both of them, but I would assume that that's their thing. So it smells really good, but y'all know I'm not the type that, and there are some people that do this, but they just drink tea with no anything, no sugar, no honey. I'm not that person. I've done it, but it's not like I've done it more often than when I'm sick, not because it's a choice. So I'm going to be adding that this honey, which is the pure raw honey, the sweet clover, the Montana sweet clover. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. It's very bright. So that's that one from the Oliveras company. Y'all, I love it. Love it. Love, love, love. I'm going to do it behind the cup so somebody can't point out how much I may or may not be using of said honey. Because somebody be trying to clock my honey intake. So I just put it in there. Let that do its thing. But how's everybody doing? I mean, this week, I feel like everybody's been preparing across the country, people have been preparing for this storm. It is definitely fully snowing over here. We're looking out the window. It was like really light around, I don't know, like 10-ish. And now the flakes are really small, which is good because that means fluffy flakes, which I appreciate. But it is definitely coming down. It is coming down in force. So we shall see what that does and how that looks. Y'all, this tea is already super dark. Like, I mean, mega dark. It is cold and snowy. Not excited to shovel. Yeah, it is pretty. But I would love to be in our soft girl life era where some man was like, oh, no, no, shovel? You can't use your hands to shovel. Amen. Amen, brother. I agree. But alas, until God does that, a shoveling we shall go, right? So it is what it is. I'm gonna let this steep, even though I really want to try it, and I purposely want to try it because it is so dark that it's a little concerning, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, because sometimes when teas are dark, what I've noticed is they taste really bitter, and I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life. Um, but I'm glad that everybody's doing well. Thank you again for letting me do this on a Sunday, not the typical day, but we're here to chat. And this year has been interesting so far. What I will say is I did expect 2026 to like be a little bit more chill, but not so much. That's not what I'm seeing as of yet. Um, and I'm not saying, it's early. I mean, not even a full month in, so it's still early, but it is definitely giving, hey, I'm here, notice me energy. And I really needed it to give, hey, I'm here to give you a break. I needed that energy, right? I needed for you guys to be able to relax. It was 1 degree. It was 2 here yesterday, so you beat us by 1 degree. And that was the actual temperature. They said the feel like temperature was -14, so that was fun. That was fun. And it got up, I think, to around 15. And today's high is, I think I saw 14 today. So polar vortex, 100%, not pretty. So many people are managing ice and sleet and all the things. So I'm actually grateful for the fluffy snow, even though, if we had no snow, I'd be okay with that as well. But, it is what it is. So, let's talk a little bit about this phrase that I have for my personal self this year. And I'm hoping that you all have something that you're able to kind of lean on this year. It may be a scripture that God gave you and put in your heart. It may be, something that you feel you've you were thinking about at the end of the year and you really want to use it as your word of the year. I've heard people say that their word for this year is pivot. I've heard some people say their word for this year is what was it called? A motivation. I've heard some people, I mean, everybody has a different thing for them, right? Some people use affirmations. So for me, my mantra, my motto for this year is God, I don't understand it. I don't like it, but I trust you. And I really feel like this was something that came out of conversation with me and God. I'm sharing it with you all because it is really helping me to understand a lot more about me and the space that I'm in right now. There's so many things that I'm grateful for, and so much that as I look at the year unfolding, and when I say the year, I'm talking about a year's time, right? As I look at that time unfolding and look at, what it is that I've managed through with God's help and with support, it's been really amazing. It's been amazing to see that, I've been through what I have called a challenging time that for many people might have broken them. It might have put them in a space where, nothing feels like everything kind of feels out of control, if I'm gonna be honest. So a lot of that leans into the, God, I don't like it and I don't understand it. 100% I've had to sit in a space where it did not make sense. What was happening did not make sense. What I was going through did not make sense. What I felt had been taken didn't make sense. What I had to like sit in did not make sense. And I 100% didn't like that, right? But in that space, in all of those things as they were happening, you look for and you find those moments where you're grateful in spite of, right? So even though, things didn't pan out the way that I thought this last year would be, I have to sit in a space of thankfulness because, God, you protected me through so much. You protected me through so, like, y'all, when I think about what could have been my life, um, and sometimes we're in such a space where we're hurt because of how things happened or how things panned out that we're not able to sit back and really look at the gratefulness and in a grateful space about God, you really protected me from so much pain, so much agony, so many years of feeling less than or feeling minimized or feeling that, gosh, like, is this all that my life was meant to be? And because God spared me from some of those things, even though it didn't feel like that in the moment. And sometimes, every once in a while, the devil will try to, have a little kind of whisper session, and I have to tell him to beat it. But those moments, they do come, and I share that because when people have their healing journeys, and when people, have relationships with God, I feel like people are not honest that yes, I trust God. I'm sitting in a space where I don't like it, I don't understand it, and sometimes it just doesn't feel good. Like, let's be honest about that. Just because you trust God doesn't mean that every day is going to feel great. It doesn't mean that at all. There are some days that you have to literally trust God to hold your head up. There are some days that all you can do is just sit. Like, literally, that is, to be able to do that is sometimes in itself an amazing journey. But most often you're not able to just do that. You still have to do things because things have to get done, right? And so, what I will tell you is there have been many moments of reflection that I have been allotted this year. And many of those moments have also been with me discovering who Stacey is in a way that I had not before. And I would not have been able to before. So for those things, I sit in a space of gratefulness. Um, you know, I will tell you that life in general, if I when I look back and I look back at Stacey as a young girl, Stacey as, you know, um, a teenager, all the way through being a young woman and now an older woman, I would never have been able to plan or plot it out what my life actually is. And what I will say about that is you have to be very mindful and very careful because there are sometimes you can look back on that, the dreams that you had for yourself as a child, if you even did, because some people They were like, "Stacey, I didn't dream about my life as an adult because I didn't even know if I was gonna make it to adulthood. I didn't really see myself that way because I was such a broken person. All I was trying to do every day was survive. So there was no dream element to my childhood, which makes me mourn for that experience as well. But what I will say is I would never have plotted out that this would be where I'm currently at, right? At this age, not having the things that I thought that I would have, but it's the reality of it. Um, let's see here. I was just rewatching Pastor Lee and Pastor Marsha preaching on trust, and she said the exact same thing, which is a good thing. We should all be saying, "That's where I am right now." Yeah, I mean, I think that we should all be saying it, but we all have to mean it. I think is what it boils down to, right? Because God, when I was saying that, I was saying, God, I don't understand, I don't like it, but I trust you. And like, I almost heard clearly, do you though? Right? Because there are going to be things that I don't understand. There are going to be things that happen that people don't understand. There are going to be things that happen that people may think are not, that's not what she should be doing, or that's not how it makes sense, or she should be doing this or she should be doing that. But the thing that you have to hold on to is you have to have your relationship with God. You have to be nurturing that so that you can hear from him, because everybody has, thoughts. And if you're so focused on tapping into everybody else's thoughts, you can easily fall into a pattern or into a season that you weren't meant to, right? I feel like sometimes God is trying to tell us that the season that we're in is supposed to be a short one, right? And that season could be combined with getting to know someone, it could be combined with getting a job, it could be combined with starting a new business. I mean, there's lots of different, I could go down the list of what it could mean. But the reality is, are you doing what you need to do to nurture your relationship with God enough that you know his voice, you hear his voice, and that everyone that may have an opinion, it's not that their opinions are wrong or bad, but they cannot be the leading opinion. God needs to have the leading voice in your life, period. Period, point blank, above your own, right? And I feel like so many times I can tell you that, especially as a young kid, I didn't have a sense of identity outside of what people constructed for me. As a teenager, I still was struggling with that. I was definitely, my voice was coming in a little bit there, but I still was like, I wanted people to like me. I wanted for, people to see me as a specific product, right? Then again, as a younger woman, I was still trying to figure things out. I had a lot of self esteem issues, a lot of self worth issues, which again, they filter how you conduct yourself, how you see yourself, the choices that you make, the choices that you don't make, which are also choices, right? All of those things were very much impacted because I wasn't nurturing my connection with God enough to hear him talk. I was letting everybody else's voice be so loud in my mind about how I saw myself and how I needed to be and what I needed to be and how I needed to conduct myself and what things were right and what things were wrong and all the things. So I wasn't spending enough time with him to hear those things for myself. And again, what somebody does is what somebody does. What God may have you doing may not make any sense. And I think when I sometimes think about that, I think about Bishop, right? For those of you who don't know, Bishop Choate um, had this testimony that he talked about how God had him going into bar rooms and speaking to people, right? And doing that work. And I guarantee you, people, when he did that, we're like, oh, look at him. Like, that's not a man of God. Why he going in the bar room? Ain't nobody that's in da 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 da. I mean, because people that what do? They love to talk, right? They love to talk. They love to have opinion. They love to share their opinion, whether or not it's unsolicited. They feel the need to do it, right? But God had given him a mandate. God had told him to do what it was that he had told him to do. And if he had not listened to what God had instructed him to do, there are people that may have been lost. There are souls that may have never gotten to know God because it didn't look right, right? It didn't what it looked to the outside world or to people's opinions. They didn't get it. So automatically what people don't get, they sometimes put in this box of it's wrong. Thank God that he knew God enough for himself that he followed what God was telling him to do, and therefore people were able to get to know God for themselves, right? So, and I'm not comparing, what happened in that situation to what's going on in your personal situation, but it's just a reminder That when we say, God, I trust you, God is God. God is not a person. God is not a pastor. God is not a family member. God is even not us, right? We have to make sure we're tapping into that in order to really have an understanding. All right, y'all. I looked at the time. This tea, y'all, is it is dark. I can't show it to you because I don't want to risk. Yeah, it's way too. I don't want to risk it spilling on my laptop. So y'all, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous. The smell is very potent. Y'all, it's good. It's really good. I don't know if it's because of the honey. I mean, definitely I can taste the honey that I put into it, but it's really, really good. This Earl Grey though, so this is the thing, right? Earl Grey tea is to me okay. I'm not like it's not the first thing that I reach for. Typically, I'm like, okay, they have English breakfast. That's like the basic for me. Um, I love chai tea. You guys know that. For those of you who've been around, that's my favorite. It's probably chai tea and the variety of chais. I love spiced chai tea, vanilla chai tea. I just love a chai tea. I like that little extra something. But this has, I mean, if Earl Grey can have a kick, it has a little bit of the kick. And I'm wondering if it's that oil, but it is really good. But it is dark, y'all. I mean, dark. Like this spoon is black and it's like a hint lighter than the spoon. It is dark inside this mug. So just as a frame of reference, if you're not a person that likes a strong tea flavor, you may have to put a little extra honey in it or sugar. Yes, I said it, Tiffany. Sugar. But you might have to put something in there. Or if you're a person that puts milk in your tea or something like that, then it might balance it a little bit, but I don't put dairy in my tea. So all right, so that's another 2 thumbs up. I should probably be doing that and like literally writing the things in the companies after. Um what, mind blown that I don't put dairy? Yeah, I don't put dairy in my tea. Do you put dairy in yours? I feel like I haven't even, do you do dairy? All right, y'all, it's good. But let me not, I could literally just sit here and just drink the tea. Sugar. Girl, you know I said that for your benefit. I said that for your benefit because it brings me joy to see, the all the expression. All right, so y'all, I was talking about the fact that we have to make sure that we're hearing God's voice, and I have to say that that is really, really important. Um, it's really important for a number of reasons. The biggest reason is that this season that we're in is going to be a season where God is going to show up in, and I feel it very strongly. It's going to be showing up in ways that we were not anticipating, right? What I need for people, I don't do dairy either. Yeah. I mean cheese. I eat cheese, but overall I'm very, very limited on dairy. Though today, if I have coffee, which I don't have often, then I put dairy in that. But yeah. But going back to what I was saying, I feel like it's important for us to, for me, I've been feeling this really strongly is that God is going to be showing up in really dynamic ways. And y'all, let me be clear. I'm meaning dynamic positive ways because people, you go places and people are like, oh, well, the Lord is going to be moving. And the way that they say it, you're like, oh, Lord, can somebody say something positive about the Lord? Because man, so I really feel like God is going to be showing up in amazing ways for the people that have relationship with him. So I have to add that piece to it, right? For those of us who have relationship and are really working to continue to grow our relationship and be stewards of, all the things that God is doing in our life and all the ways that he's trying to bless us and all that. I feel like that is going to be a very real thing this year, 2026, right? That being said, because he's doing that, it does not mean you're going to understand the technique. Let me be clear. I never understand the techniques, right? I sit and I'm like, God, I wouldn't have done it that way, but he don't care about me saying that because he's like, I know you wouldn't have done it that way. I'm doing it. So yeah, don't worry about what I'm doing over here. You do your thing over that way. I'm excited about it. I feel like this year, if we take the moment, right? I feel like sometimes I have had moments where I feel like this glimpse or this space where I feel movement, but I've been too afraid to do anything with it, right? Like God was opening a pathway. I saw the pathway and I was like, but I'm not good enough, right? Like who would read a book that I wrote? For what purpose? Like I'm just Stacey. I mean, not that I feel like I'm a nobody, but in terms of the grand scheme of the world, right? I'm not an Oprah. I'm not a person that people know in that capacity. So I'm like, why would people read a book that I'm writing? There's a million self-help books out there. There's a million books about people going through healing and all of those pieces, right? And so I've talked myself out of things. I've literally disqualified myself, even though God qualifies us, right? So there was a point in time that, even with, and I think I've shared this with you all, but even with, God helping me to see myself, my physical self as beautiful, I literally, even after that, have still been having these moments where it's like, like it's like me fighting what God told me. But the thing is, God and God literally, I feel like when it's not like I feel like I know that he saw me kind of grappling a little bit with that, right? With that mentality, or because if you haven't seen yourself in a way for the entirety of your life, and then you see yourself in a way and it like happens like this, you're gonna act like you don't have these things whisper in your ear, like, girl, please, right? So I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be transparent with you. I've 100% had those little like moments that I've had to been like, God, I know that you said that I'm this. And God literally had to check me. And he didn't do it ultra gentle, y'all. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He was like, Stacey, I told you you're fearfully and wonderfully made. I told you you're the head, not the tail. So am I the liar or are you? And I was like, "Oh, wow, like you came out swinging. Like you didn't need to do all that. I'm just trying to come to you and be honest about what I'm feeling." And he's like literally like, "I already established what you are. I've already qualified you. You keep allowing for other people to disqualify you, and because they disqualify you, because they minimize what I put in you, you're allowing for that to be your truth. So if you keep saying, God, I don't understand, I don't like it, but I trust you, do you really trust me?" And I was like, ooh, like, so, with Richard Smallwood passing away, which was for me a devastating experience. And we, as a family, were just actually watching his funeral services, which if you haven't watched them, it's just moving, not because it's just the man, but because of what he meant to gospel music and to the gospel and the Christian culture and to just people in general, people who love music. Such an impact, such a legacy. But the song to me that he wrote that has been just like running circles in my brain. Hey Kathy, how you doing? Has been running circles in my brain is Trust Me, right? If you would only trust me, trust me, trust me. Like that song, literally, he said, if you will only trust me. I can do all these things, Stacey. If you will only trust me, I can do all these things, Tiffany. If you will only, I can do all these things, Kathy. If you will only trust me, I can do all these things, Cheryl. If you will only trust me. If you will only trust me, look at what I can do. Look at the doors that I will open for you. I need you to trust me. I need you to not walk in doubt. I need you to not let what people have said you are or what people have said you aren't, for that not to be your thing. Let them talk and let me do what I do. Let me show up in the way that I show up because no one is going to make a liar out of God. Period. Point blank. They're not going to do it. He is the Alpha and Omega. He has the beginning and the final say, and all the ones in the middle, if we allow him to. If we allow him to. You're hot and cold, but good. Thanks. Cold and cold, but good. Cold and cold. But this tea is good, y'all. This tea is good. But I need for you guys to hear what I just said. He wants to do all of those things in each of our lives. In each of our lives. He has literally forethought your existence before, as he was making this earth, right? He was making all the things. And then he was like, okay, you know what? I need to add something to the earth. When he thought about making man, right? He looked out into eternity and said, I need there to be Kathy. I need there to be Cheryl. I need there to be Tiffany. I need there to be Stacey. I need those people here. Why? Because I have a purpose that I'm assigning to them. I'm trusting them with a thing. I'm trusting that they're going to be able to take what I'm going to plant in them, the purpose that I'm going to plant in them, and they're going to be able to take it if only they trust me. Yes, they're going to go through some things. That is life. I'm sorry, Jesus went through things on this earth. He did not get a free pass. Now he could have said, all right, tag me out. I'm good. I'm good. These people don't even deserve me to be here. I'm out. These people are acting a fool. People done talked about me. They're whooping me. They're spitting on me. They're doing all the things. They're lying about who I am. They're denying that you exist. I'm good. Let them rot. I'm all set. But he didn't do that. He literally went and was crucified because he thought about you. Because he thought about you carrying the seed of purpose. He thought about you being able to connect to people that he can connect to all, right? But he purposed for you so you could have a human connection with someone. Because quite frankly, there are still people that don't believe that he exists, right? There's no way that God doesn't exist. If a God existed, then this wouldn't happen. Baby girl, let me just tell you that is not the case. If he didn't exist, what would our life be? What would life be? Every once in a while, I'll literally let my brain go there, right? I'll let my brain go to a place where I try to process what my life would be if Calvary didn't happen, or if I didn't know who he was. Right? The reality is we do know that he exists. Why? Because there are so many moments that each of us can go into our past and sit in that moment and say, there's no way that I made it out of that without something helping me. And the something is not the universe, right? Because there's a creator of the universe. So every time people say the universe, I'm like, well, who created it? And they're like, well, it was a big bang. I'm like, well, who did the big bang? If the Big Bang just happened so nothing happened that caused there to be this thing, and then you're made from a monkey. Well, good for you. If that's what you want to believe, then God bless you. I'm at the point where I'm not going to try. I'm going to tell people what the truth is, but I'm not going to beat people over the head with it. And y'all, I went through a period, and my family can attest to it, that I was beating people over the head with the word. You're going to hear this word. You're going to hear this word, but I'm not doing that anymore. The Bible tells you not to do that anyways, but I felt like I was a crusader. I felt like I was a crusader. I needed to convince people. All you have to do is tell people the truth and then let it sit. And let it sit. And then ask God to do what God does, because God is that person, that God is the thing that's going to fertilize that seed. You're not doing that. That's not even your role. Your role is to show up in love, show up in consistency, and show them what it looks like to trust God. But if you're not trusting God, then the next person can't see what it looks like to trust God. They can't see what's advantageous about that. Why would I do this? What would be the point of me trusting this person, this God? Let God be God. But unfortunately, some of us feel like we need to step in the role. Oh, this person shouldn't be doing this. This person shouldn't be acting like this. This person shouldn't be. Ma'am and sir, remember that you and me, right? You and me have not always done the right thing. So if people were going to literally look at you and then damn you to hell based on one thing that you've done or one decision that you made that was maybe not the best decision, we need to be a little bit careful because some of us, I'm telling you, this is why God could never give us this role. Because I'm like, I'm gonna smite you and you're a smote. I'm smiting you and you're a smote. Like everybody's going down. It would be like when Oprah gave you get a car, you get a car. Everybody would be like, this person is funky. I don't like them. They're gone. That's why God was like, nah, I could never give them that capability because they would act a plumb fool with it. The reality is this, y'all. We need to learn and really listen for God's voice. because you can't trust him if you don't know him, right? You have to be talking to him. I talk to him all the time. I've already told y'all sometimes he puts me on hold, but we still communicate, right? We still communicate. I couldn't get through the days if I wasn't doing that. So I'm not going to sit here and just talk about, come on here and give you cute stories. I could do that. That's fine. And there's a time and place for that, right? So I'm not even minimizing that. But today I really needed to sit in this space where I'm telling you what my phrase is. God, I don't understand it. I don't like it, but I trust you. And he's going to keep asking, do you? Well, let's see, Stacey. Let's see if that's the case. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. It doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means keep acknowledging him. When you mess up, God, I did it again. Lord, I done did it. This person, I didn't, Lord, I don't know why I let that person get under my skin. They were just on my last nerve, and then they jumped on it, Lord. And when they jumped, I jumped too. We were both jumping, right? The reality of it is there are those times that you have to just say that to God. You have to be he already knows, but he wants you to bring it to him. Because if you want there to be change, if you want there to be better, you have to be willing to say, God, yeah, I got froggy. That person got froggy. I got froggy. We were both jumping around like frogs, right? And nothing got resolved. Neither person was willing to say that, you know what, I shouldn't have treated you that way. I wasn't listening. That's just the nature of, as we're growing, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have bumps along the road. No healing journey, I've told you this a gazillion times. No healing journey is a straight line. It's all the things. It's tripping over a log, running in the woods and tripping over the log and looking backwards and seeing all the past running behind you. It is literally going up a mountain and halfway through, like feeling like you're going to pass out. It's maybe falling or tripping a couple times or sitting down and having to catch your breath. It's sitting in that valley where it's freezing and you can't seem to get warm. It's all the things. It is all the things. In all of those seasons, in all of those moments, do you trust him? If only you will trust me, I can do all these amazing things in your life. Yes, you're going to have to go through hard times. Yes, you're going to have to go through moments of disconnection. Yes, you're going to have to suffer sometimes. Yes, you're going to have moments where you're crying and you feel like nobody cares about you and nobody understands you and nobody sees you and what you're going through, right? Those moments are unavoidable. I wish I could say that they weren't, but they're not avoidable. But God is telling you, even though you don't understand it, even though it does not make sense and you don't like it, are you willing to trust him? That's the question. That's the question he posed to me. So I feel like I should be bringing it to you all. Not to say you're not doing it. I'm not saying that because I don't know. But I can tell you that that's something that he's been asking of me and requiring of me to be able to really respond to. And so I want to share that with you all. I'm not going to prolong the hour. I felt like I had a message to share. I shared my message with you. Y'all just lean into this. This is a season that and I'm being so sincere. I don't know why I feel this way, but I really feel like this year is going to be a year of so many blessed seasons for people that trust him. Now, if you go on some other things, people are like, oh, it's going to be a rough year. There's going to be this and that. And if you look at how things are shaping up, it doesn't necessarily look like this is a blessed period, right? This looks like outwardly, if you look through if you're watching things, it looks scary, right? What in the world is going on? There's so much of this, and there's so much calamity, and there's so much pain, and there's so much hatred, and there's so much anger, and there's so much vengeance, and there's so much viciousness. How in the midst of all that, is there going to be a calm for the people who are trusting God? But that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. Now, I'm not saying that in that calm, you shouldn't be paying attention because that's stupid. I'm just going to tell you that is stupid. You should know what's happening in the world around you. Please do. That is wisdom. There's a difference between trusting God and lacking wisdom, right? So I'm not saying just be like, oh, well, I'm protected. I'm a child of the king. Ma'ams and sirs, that's not how this goes, right? So don't, things are happening and buzzing past you, and you're about to, pick up a dollar bill on the side of the street when there's, all sorts of stuff happening. That's not what I'm saying. Trust God, lean not to your own understanding, and ask Him to give you some wisdom. If you need some wisdom, without wisdom, the people perish, right? So, and without a vision, the people perish. So, have a vision. The vision needs to be pointed to God, and He will inject you with some wisdom if you don't have that. It's not what it looks like in Christ. Yeah, it is not what it looks like in Christ. That's the thing. Again, we see time. That's why I say that so often, because I have to remind myself, we see time. We see this finite, this little blip of time, right? This tiny, tiny, tiny speck of time that we're here on this earth. That's all we can imagine some of the past, right? We can hope for some of the future, but we're only seeing this. He sees it all. And he sees it all in the same time. Right? So he's not like he doesn't have to like fast forward and like roll it back and all that. He sees it all. The whole thing laid out. And we see this little tiny thing. That's why we have to trust. He knows how things are going to be worked out. We can't see it. We don't understand it at all. At least I don't. Maybe y'all do. I don't. But he has everything in perfect planning. Everything. He's working out when he has to move this or that. Okay, I need to make a way for Kathy. So I need to make a way for Kathy. I need to remove this opportunity. I need to implant this situation. I need to move this person out, move this person in. Like there's all this inner, like all this working that he has to do in the background. Okay, I need for Cheryl to have this as a situation. So I'm going to connect her with this person because this person is going to be the person that propels her to her next thing, right? And that person is going to be an investor in whatever it is that she desires, and this and that and the other thing. And I'm going to connect Tiffany to this person because this person is going to be able to give resources and provide research and do this and that. Like all of those things are, that's what I'm saying. It's literally all of these things happening in the background. All of them, please do amen. All of those things are happening in the background, right? All of those things simultaneously. And he doesn't have to do, we're like, okay, God, all right, I need this, that, and the other thing. Okay. So because I need this, I'm gonna not do this. And then maybe this, like, he's like, really? Did I did I ask for your help? Because I don't remember asking for your help. I don't no, I don't believe that I did. I believe that I told you to sit your tail down somewhere. That's what I mean, he talks to me like that. I don't know how he talks to you because everybody had a different relationship with him. But like he's like, I didn't ask for your help. I didn't ask for your assistance. I asked for you to take a seat and let me do what I do. So I just want to share that with you all. I want you to trust that he has the perfect plan. I know that it doesn't always feel good. I know that we don't always like it, but we have to trust him because again, he's got it. He's got it. Even especially when we don't. Especially when we don't. Especially when we're able to take our fingers, our hands off of what's happening and we say, "Okay, God, I don't get it. This seems a little crazy. This don't make no type of sense. I don't see that this is going to work out, but you say all things work out for my good." Stop fighting what God has already told you is a thing and let him work all the things out. Let him do all that working in the background. Just stay connected to him. Stay asking him, God, is there something that I need to do? Is there something I need to prepare? Is there, a connection that I need to make? God, is this person that is connecting with me? Is this a good person to have in my life? Or should I be like, no, thank you. No entrance here because what God has for me is not connected to what you have going on here. God, is this person supposed to stay in my life that I have? Or is this person supposed to, stay in my life as a friend? Is this person supposed to be my husband? Is this person supposed to be my wife? Is this person, all the questions, y'all, for all the things that we're asking God for. Is this supposed to be a person that I start a business with? Or is this person like out to use me? Like, what is going on in the situation? God, y'all, I can't tell you how firmly it is important that we ask God the questions that we have not been. And I know for a lot of people, they're like, man, can't I do anything on my own? Sure, go for it. How's that been working out for you? You can. Absolutely. I've been. How's that worked out for me, y'all? And I'm not saying that there haven't been things that have been successful. I'm not saying there have been moments of happiness. I'm not saying that I haven't been blessed, regardless of sometimes when I was totally hard headed, did not include him in what was going on, just went about my business, checked in and hit with him every once in a while, because he's merciful and because there's grace, grace was applied, right? But mercy and grace they don't last forever, y'all. It's in the word, right? There's a point where there's none of that. And I don't want to get to my point where he's like, Stacey, you have one more grace left. I'm like, one more? What do you mean one more grace? I need like 100 million leaven. I can't just do it one. And he doesn't tell you that that's your final grace, right? So we have to make sure that we stay in connection so that he wants to continue to cover us in grace and mercy. All right, well, I read into that. That may have not been what you meant by that, but I saw that as a wave in the fan well moment. All right, y'all. I appreciate you. It has been a blessing. It will continue to be a blessing to be able to chat with you all. Again, thank you for pivoting to Sunday, as yesterday was just a lot going on and I wasn't able to do it. And that's what you meant. Where I was not able to do it, but I do appreciate you all so very much. And that is it. That is all I have to say. Go Patriots. That's the last thing I have to say. All right, y'all. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and extend to yourself and to me, your girl, a measure of grace. Please stay warm, stay as dry as possible, and be easy if you have to go out there like I have to and shovel. All right. Bye, y'all. Have a oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad that you liked the message. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.